Hello students, class 10 ICSE Biology, Unit 2, Plant Physiology, third part, photosynthesis. In this lesson, we will start with the definition and importance of photosynthesis and structure of the chlorophyll, some important structures of the diagrams, and the definition of the photosynthesis. It is a process of living plant cells or green plants containing chlorophyll produce food substances, that is food in the form of glucose and starch from carbon dioxide and water. By using light energy, plants release oxygen as a byproduct during photosynthesis. And importance of the photosynthesis, two ways it is important. Number one is providing food for all the heterotrophic organisms and also providing oxygen to breathe. So, the chlorophyll is one of the vital organ for this photosynthesis. Chlorophyll is present, coloring material, green coloring material present in the cell organelle called chloroplast. It is a microscopic structure, and chloroplasts are minute oval bodies bounded by double membranous structure, outer membrane and inner membrane. Inside there are some flattened sac-like structures are known as the thylakoids, and the ground substance is known as the stroma, and each one is the piling of the colorless material is known as the grana, and singular it is called as single stripe is called as the granum, and the pigment chlorophyll is present in the walls of the thylakoids, and it is composed of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen and magnesium. And these chloroplasts are mainly contained in the mesophyll cells. Mesophyll cells are present in the leaf cells. Normal leaf cells are called as mesophyll cells. And these mesophyll cells are present in the upper and lower epidermis of this leaf. Those are known as palisade parenchyma or palisade cells and spongy cells. And this particular structure is very important. You have to draw for this, and this containing of the stroma and thylakoids, they both will be participating for the process of the photosynthesis. And too much light destroys the chlorophyll, so that it is very much sensitive, and if it is not getting sunlight also, it cannot able to generate, so that it is disintegration of the older parts of the leaves or the stem also. And regulation of stomatal opening for letting in the carbon dioxide, so that this thylakoids and the stoma highly depends upon the structures called the stomata. The stomatal structures are very much required for the opening and closing, for their taking of the gases in the process of diffusion, and they may collect carbon dioxide, they may release oxygen and also water vapor, so that those structures are very much important for the process of photosynthesis. So that we will be looking for the stomatal openings and the structures we require. Stomatal structures are also required for the preparation of the food in the plants. So we will be looking for the regulation of stomatal opening for letting in the carbon dioxide, and the process of photosynthesis is giving that stomata opening and closing, and opening and closing to taking as the gaseous exchange, we can write gaseous exchange. And the process of photosynthesis is normally the collective definition is it requires carbon dioxide, it requires water in the presence of light energy, and chlorophyll to produce glucose, water and oxygen. So the process of photosynthesis in the mesophyll cells, in the mesophyll cells, there are two layers of the cells are present. Those are palisade parenchyma and spongy parenchyma. Both are having the containing with the chlorophyll, so that this chlorophyll is trapping the sunlight and converting into chemical energy. Carbon dioxide from the atmosphere entering into the leaf by the process of diffusion, and that is the concentration gradient, that is high rate of carbon dioxide will be entering into the leaf through the stomatal openings. Water from the soil is taken up by the roots, sent up through the stem, that is ascent of sap, finally reaching to the mesophyll cells of the leaf. So that I have written here the chemical reaction is 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, 12 molecules of water in the presence of light energy and chlorophyll forms glucose, water and oxygen. So, two phases of photosynthesis, the mechanism portion we can able to go through. There are two types of photosynthesis, two phases actually. It is the mechanism is two phases. One is the light dependent phase, other one is light independent phase. So light dependent phase, in this phase light plays an important role, and this light phase is also called as photochemical phase. Light reaction takes place in the thylakoids because thylakoids walls are completely arranged with the chlorophyll, and this chlorophyll containing chloroplast, the thylakoids, are taking as the active place for the light reaction. So under this reaction there are few steps are there: activation of the chlorophyll, splitting of water, photophosphorylation, and these three reactions, these three processes are followed in the light dependent phase. Number one, activation of the chlorophyll. Chlorophyll on exposure of the sunlight can be able to activate by absorbing the photon or the small units of the light energy, which are known as the photons. So after activation of the chlorophyll, it will be ready for the process of the splitting of the water molecules, and splitting of the water molecules into hydrogen ion and oxygen in the presence of light and the grana is known as photolysis. So photolysis, under photolysis, the water is going to splitting to give hydrogen 4 electrons plus oxygen it releases, and this photolysis, whenever it is releasing the oxygen, immediately the oxygen is to be eliminated, and hydrogen ion and electrons which are present, they will be picked by the compound is known as NADP, that is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, and after reducing with the electrons and the hydrogen, it gives NADPH. So combining with the hydrogen and the electrons, it is forming the NADPH. So this NADPH is one of the reduced nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate is now it is forming this, can be able to form these electrons when it is present. During this process, oxygen is immediately eliminated as in the form of molecular oxygen. Hydrogen is joined with the NADP molecule, and the electrons which are converting the ADP to ATP in the presence of inorganic phosphate, so that now the ADP become ATP and oxygen is already eliminated and NADP is also present in the plant body. Now it is completely ready for the light dependent phase is over. Now it is which conversion is there, ADP to ATP. This particular conversion is known as phosphorylation, and if it is using the energy content, then it is known as the photophosphorylation. The second phase, which one is known as light independent phase, in this phase it doesn't require any light, so that it is independently can be able to follow this process. The half of the process is dependent phase and the rest process is that which one is the allowing the carbon dioxide concentration, so that it is also known as biosynthetic phase, and in this phase no light is required, and only with the light reaction this particular amount of the carbon dioxide when it is entering into the plant body, the rest of the part can be able to convert into glucose, that is C6H12O6, and conversion of glucose into starch and other chemicals, and which the conversion of glucose into starch or the simple sugars are converted into complex sugar, and that particular process is known as polymerization. Now we will be looking to the adaptations in leaf to perform photosynthesis. Adaptations in leaf to perform photosynthesis. Number one, it is required large surface area, and surface area will be more larger than the amount of photosynthesis will be more. Leaf arrangement at the right angle to the light source so that rate of photosynthesis will be large. Cuticle and upper epidermis are transparent, then it can able to participate more in the photosynthesis. Number of stomata will be more, then more of the exchanging of the gases, so photosynthesis will be more. And thinness of the leaf, chloroplast, amount of the chloroplast, and extensive vein systems are also suitable sources for the photosynthesis. End products for the photosynthesis are glucose, water, and oxygen. I have already written for the reaction is we have gone through, that is the 6 molecules of carbon dioxide plus 12 molecules of water in the presence of light energy and chlorophyll gives glucose, water, and oxygen. So end products of the photosynthesis are glucose, water, and oxygen, and this glucose is the simple sugar, but it is converted into sucrose and starch also, that it is known as the polymerization. Water, which one is formed, that is produced in the reutilized in the continuance of the photosynthesis. Oxygen in the photolysis, it can be able to eliminated in the form of the molecular oxygen to the atmosphere. So this food, which one is formed, that it is utilized in the plant body through the phloem cells, is known as the translocation. And factors affecting the photosynthesis, there are two types of factors. One is the external factors, second one is the internal factors. External factors are light intensity, carbon dioxide concentration, temperature, and water content. Light intensity should be more readily, it can be able to increase the rate of photosynthesis, and photosynthesis increases with the light intensity up to certain limit. It then gets stabilizes. Sometimes the carbon dioxide concentration, if it increased, photosynthesis also increases. Then temperature factor is, with the rising temperature, the rate of photosynthesis rises, and this optimum temperature, the maximum suitable temperature for the photosynthesis is 35 degrees Celsius. So water content, scarcity of water due to reduced absorption from the soil or due to an excessive loss through the transpiration, both are reduces the rate of photosynthesis, decreasing the diffusive capacity of the carbon dioxide. So internal factors are chlorophyll, protoplasm, and the structure of the leaf. Chlorophyll, if loss of chlorophyll, then less amount of trapping of solar energy, so that it may be suffering with some mineral deficiencies. Protoplasm is also dehydration of the protoplasm, or some other cases it may be having some plasmolytic condition. In that cases it cannot able to take part in photosynthesis. And structure of the leaf, thickness of the cuticle, and unequal distribution of the stomata, size of the leaf are the factors which it can be able to affect the rate of photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is at night. It is some of the remarkable plants, just like aloe vera, tulsi, neem, and peepal. It can able to show the CAM photosynthesis, that is the crassulacean acid metabolism. So crassulacean acid metabolism can be seen in some of the arid plants just like epiphytes. So they can able to release oxygen even during the night time. They can perform the photosynthesis. Night time also they can able to perform the photosynthesis. And experiments on photosynthesis. So experiments on photosynthesis. First of all, the plant is to be discharged or leaf, which one we will take for the testing of the photosynthesis. We have to discharge it. Discharging means removal of the starch, and if the plant is to be taken, then 24 to 48 hours we have to keep the plant in a dark place so that the amount of stored starch will not be stored again in the storage organs, so that we can able to take that plant or the leaves for the test. And starch test will be taken as the reagent is iodine solution. When iodine solution we will be taking for the starch, then if presence of starch will be there, then the solution turns into blue black color. Normally the solution is brown in color. So if we will take a leaf for the starch test, then first we have to boil the leaf in water and kill the cells. Then the leaf is taking a methylated spirit over water, bath till it becomes pale white due to the removal of chlorophyll. Then leaf now becomes hard and brittle, and that particular leaf now we will be taking in hot water to make it soft. Spread the leaf in a dish and pour iodine solution over it so that presence of starch, it will be indicated blue black in color. The leaf without starch will show the brown coloration, normal coloration of the iodine solution. And our experiments are based on our base number 75 says that many experiments are given, and that experiments are based on the limiting factors, and the limiting factors are, one is that is the chlorophyll, necessary of the chlorophyll. Second one is the sunlight, presence of sunlight, and other one is carbon dioxide, necessity of the carbon dioxide. Okay. And these three are given as the, and fourth one is releasing of oxygen. So chlorophyll, testing of the chlorophyll, we will take the variegated leaves, which the leaves are partly patched with the green and non-green patches, so that we can see that green patches are completely filled with the starch and non-green patches are not containing with the starch. There we can able to apply the iodine solution. And sunlight is required for the photosynthesis. The leaf is taken and one black paper is covered in the portion of the green coloration, so that when the black paper is to be taken and that particular portion is taken for the iodine test, and carbon dioxide concentration to be testing for taking the one of the leaf containing with the conical flask, and other leaf is present in the outside of the twig. So this particular leaf, which one is present there, we will be using that KOH, potassium hydroxide, which one is completely absorbing the carbon dioxide. Here no carbon dioxide. Outside the leaf, which one is present, it is the completely containing with the carbon dioxide. So that out of these two, this is the control one, this is the normal one. So if we will take for the starch test, this will give the perfect result, and it will not give because it has not taken part in photosynthesis. And this particular experiment is also known as the moles experiment or split cork experiment. And fourth one is releasing of oxygen. We will take the plants are hydrilla. Hydrilla plants are very much sensitive to the sunlight, so that immediately placing in the arrangement is given in the figure number 6.8, and that particular plants immediately they can be able to absorb the sunlight and it starts releasing the oxygen, so that it is very soon we can able to test in the laboratory or outside of the our sunlight also we can able to see. So the bubbles of the gas will be coming in the test tube. So the apparatus will be arranged like this. Test tube will be present and funnel will be present here. Here we will be taking the hydrilla plants. So bubbles of oxygen will be releasing. So these bubbles are considered as the oxygen. So, and the end of the lesson, importance of the photosynthesis, provides food and provides oxygen, and also taking the first position of the producers in the food chain. So that plants are the producers of the food chain. The first trophic level stands and the main member of the food chain, so that they can be able to supply the food to the other heterotroph, so that it is called as the autotroph. And the carbon cycle is the one of the flow chart diagram is to be taken. Carbon, in which way it is reaching to the atmosphere and in which way it is utilizing, and during photosynthesis carbon dioxide is utilized. Food chain also, carbohydrates are prepared, carbohydrates are to be consumed. Respiration, carbon dioxide is released. Decaying of decomposition, carbon dioxide released. Combustion, burning, carbon dioxide released. And heating of limestone, carbon dioxide is released. And many sources of releasing of the carbon dioxide, but utilization of the carbon dioxide is only the way, that is the plants and the photosynthesis. So that plants are to be produced more, so that we have to leave the greenery. Okay. Then we will be looking for the exercise. Exercise is containing with the multiple choice, very short answer type questions, and some experimental structural questions based on the very easy way it is given. And thank you, all can able to do these answers. Thank you.